Thank you for the promotion.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're pretty quiet though.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, there we go.
I'm in a meeting.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you.
Dr. Fadley, do we need Drew and Kiernan promoted as well?
I invited them to the meeting to participate in case anyone had any questions.
Okay, I'll bring them over.
Also, Ryan, there may be one public participation on an agenda item as well. So if you see someone out there, make sure that you let him in as well.
Can you say that again? My audio was being stupid.
Yes, we may have one public participation on an agenda item. So
Okay.
if there's someone else out there waiting to get in, should let them in as well.
Okay. Yeah, Laura did let me know the name of somebody. I don't see them yet.
Are you on? Ryan,
Yeah.
waiting.
I don't know that we're waiting for anybody.
Oh, okay. I only have one person up on my screen. So, all right, ready to start then?
I'm ready.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call it June 22nd, 2020 school board meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Case. Mrs. Casper.
Ryan.
Oh, yeah, I don't see. Oh, no, yeah, she's here.
Dr. Kennedy.
Here.
Mrs. Cocker.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. McCray. Mr. Negrini.
Here.
Mr. Schneider.
Here.
And Mr. Hart.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
public for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
liberty
for
and
all.
justice for all.
Thank you. Is Mr. Seidel on?
I don't see him by name. What's the first name?
I think it's Harry.
Henry?
Henry? I do see a Henry. Let me see if that's him.
Yeah, this is Henry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
Harry. We'll have our
Thank
attorney
you.
give an announcement first, and then we'll give you the opportunity to speak, Mr. Seidel.
Thank you.
There's two opportunities for the public to address the board. One is on agenda items, which is immediately before the agenda. The other is on non-agenda items, which is at the end of the meeting, pursuant to school board policy, the Sunshine Law, and the school code. It is a 3-minute opportunity to provide the board with comment on matters that are or may come before it. It is not question and answer, but it's instead is your opportunity to provide that comment. And I understand there is comment for an agenda item.
Go ahead, Mr. Seidel.
This is a letter I sent to Dr. Richard Fadley. Dear Dr. Fadley, everyone in the Wilson School District is dealing with the ramifications of COVID-19. Students and their families have been adversely affected in a variety of ways. We want to let you know that while our family wishes no ill health or death to anyone, we and everyone else have all sacrificed to, quote, flatten the curve, which seemed to be the primary basis for the shutdown. Now that the curve has been flattened, it seems that a growing number in the community are ready to return to life as it was before the pandemic, while some are still concerned enough to support the wearing of face masks and continued social distancing. For our family, we are part of the first group that no longer supports the wearing of masks and limitations to our individual ability to keep our society and its supporting economy moving forward. While we know there is risk, there is also risk caused by wearing masks. There is the risk that continued social distancing efforts will hinder the growth of our children's confidence to be able to live as free as possible. If families want their children to wear masks, let them. But don't force our children to wear a mask because other families are concerned. If families want their children to continue to social distance, let them. But don't force our child to limit her interactions with her fellow students that come from families that feel the same way we do. The fall school year can be very normal or very different from an organizational standpoint. I'm sure you have been discussing a variety of scenarios to keep everyone safe, as has every school district in this county, state, and nation. This is based upon the assumption that everyone is at a high risk. If your assumption were that everyone was at a low risk, there probably would not be anything for us to discuss. So I guess I'm really asking you to think through this logically, which would prevent you from forcing everyone to wear a mask. The risk to children has been documented by the CDC to be minimal. So let our children attend school in as normal a manner as possible. If families have concerns because they are scared, because someone in their family has a health issue that increases their risk, or because they live in a multi-generational household, give them permission to have their children learn from home. Set up a plan for those that want to limit themselves without limiting those of us that are ready to move forward. Choose to permit our child and her fellow students to attend school every day without being required to wear masks. Choose to permit our child and her fellow students to interact freely with others that want things to run normally. Choose to permit our child and her fellow students to be with their teachers who can support them most effectively by being in the same room. Choose to permit our child and her fellow students to participate fully in all the wonderful extracurricular activities supported by the faculty and staff of the Wilson School District. We hope that you and the Wilson School Board will support our family's request while giving options to the declining number of families who continue to be concerned. Thank you for your consideration, Henry and Madeline Seidel.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
The board met in executive session this evening prior to the board meeting for personnel issues. Approval of the minutes. Looking to request approval of the minutes of the school board meeting held on June 1st, 2020 as attached. Have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Martin first.
Second, Mr. Schneider.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, thank you. Treasurer's report, Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, I submit for approval tonight the Treasury report, the investment report, and the general fund financial reports as presented.
We have first from Mr. Martin. Do we have a second?
Cocker.
Mrs. Cocker, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case. Mrs. Casper.
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
8-4, 0 against.
Payment of bills, Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, I submit for approval tonight bills and amount from the general fund of $3,511,220.63. The capital reserve account, $9,886.88. And out of the 2019 A construction fund, $17,083.37.
Thank you. We have a first. Do we have a second?
Schneider, second.
Schneider, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case. Mrs. Casper.
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
8-4, 0 against.
Superintendent's report, Dr. Fadley.
Thank you, President Hart.
Brad,
I
excuse me, we
believe
skipped 5.
financial reports.
Hold on a second, Doctor. Did I skip one? I apologize. Hold on, Dr. Fadley. 5.1, Mr. Martin for the financial reports. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President, I submit for approval tonight, all for May, the cafeteria report, the child care report, the Southern Middle School athletic account, Wilson West Middle School activity account, and the senior high account, all for May.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Casper.
Casper, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case. Mrs. Casper.
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider.
Yes.
And Mr. Hart. 8-0 against.
Dr. Fadley, superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Hart. This evening, I present the personnel and program recommendations as listed. Prior to the board voting on those recommendations, I would like to acknowledge the following employees who will be retiring from the school district. Sharon Forst, monitorial aide at Cornwall Terrace and substitute child care assistant with 33 years of service to the Wilson School District. Dorothy Hafer, school bus driver, effective July 1st with 5 years of service to the Wilson School District. Patrick Hafer, school bus driver with 9 years of service to the Wilson School District, effective July 1st. And Donna Noah, custodian at Shiloh Hills with 33 years of service to the Wilson School District, effective June 25th, 2020. I'd like to thank these individuals for their service to our school community and wish them well in their retirement.
Thank you. Do I have a first?
I'll move.
Mr. Martin first. Is there a second?
Schneider, second.
Mr. Schneider, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case. Mrs. Casper.
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker.
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Mr. Negrini.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
8-4, 0 against.
Under consent items, 7.1, request to approve to accept a check in the amount of $75 from BCIU that was received as prize money by our high school STEM students. for winning first place in the 2020 Governor STEM competition on February 20th, 2020. 7.2, request to approve to accept a check in the amount of $4,274.71 from the BCIU received as a reimbursement to the district for the wellness activities expense as attached. 7.3, accept with gratitude a donation from Wade Price of Office Technologies, an Epson printer to be used in essential duplication. And looking for a motion to accept items 7.1 through 7.3 as presented.
So moved, Snyder.
Mrs. Cocker, did I hear you say?
Yes, sorry.
Cocker, second. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Under Human Resources, 8.1, request authorization for the superintendent to make employment commitments to qualified applicants for the purpose of filling vacancies that occur after the June 22nd, 2020 board meeting, with action to be ratified by the Board of Education at the next official meeting. 8.2, request to approve the third payout for the driver safety and attendance stipend. 8.3, request to approve a salary freeze for support staff for the 2020-2021 school year. 8.4, request to approve the MOU between the Wilson School District and contracted non-Act 93 administrators for salary freeze for the 2020-2021 school year as attached. 8.5, request to approve the MOU between the Wilson School District and the Act 93 administrators for salary freeze for the 2020-21 school year as attached. 8.6, request approval of the revised accountant job description within the business office department. 8.7, request approval of the administrative coordinator job description within the food services department. 8.8, request approval of the administrative assistant for academic supervisor's job description within the academic services department. 8.9, requesting to approve to renew the Inroads Family Guidance Center contract to provide an employee assistance program services to the Wilson School District employees in the amount of $3,979.50 beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021, pending solicitor review and approval. Looking for a motion to approve items 8.1 through 8.9 as presented.
First,
So
Casper.
moved.
Mrs. Casper first, Mr. Martin second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pace,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under Student Services, 9.1, request permission to enter the names of the 2020 Wilson graduates into the permanent minutes as attached. 9.2, request approval of the addendum to the new story contract, lowering the cost of 4 special education students from a cost of $380 to cost affiliation agreement with Millersville University to provide an educational experience for students enrolled in the Bachelor of Science of Nursing program and or Master of Science in Nursing program, pending solicitor review and approval. 9.4, request to approve the school psychology internship agreement with Millersville University to provide an internship experience in school psychology from the 2020-2021 school year, covering a minimum of 1,200 hours and a stipend of $10,000 for the internship as attached. 9.5, request approval of membership into the BCIU's Berks County Safety and Security Consortium for the 2021 school year. The annual fee for the membership is $5,000. Title IV funds will be used to pay the membership fee. 9.6, request approval to contract with Progression School to provide education for a special education student at a cost of $182 per day for the 2020-21 school year, pending solicitor review and approval. 9.7, request permission to contract with River Rock Academy, purchasing 10 secondary slots for the 2020-21 school year at a discounted rate of $129.43 per day and 185 school days for an annual cost of $239,455.50. Pending solicitor review and approval. 9.8, request approval of a service agreement with Dr. Margaret Kay to perform an independent education evaluation at a fee not to exceed $4,500 in accordance with board policy 113.3. 9.9, request approval of an additional summer hours for school nurse, teacher of the visually impaired, and paraprofessionals, ESY teaching staff, and related services, and ESY paraprofessionals as presented. 9.10, request approval to contract with communities and schools in Eastern PA for an integrated student social work and mental health services for the 2021 school year and the 21-22 school year, 24 months at a total cost not to exceed $288,000. The district's portion of the funds for this program will come from the CARES Act, ESSER funds, which were received as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. 9.11, request permission to approve the adoption of the settlement agreement and release to directly pay the Hilltop Preparatory School amount of $47,275 for the 2021 school year and tuition for the 21-22 and 22-23 school years not to exceed a 3% increase each year in exchange for settlement and waiver of all and any potential claims by the parent of a special education student and to the authorized board president and secretary to execute the agreement on behalf of the district pending final solicitor review. 9.12, request permission to approve the adoption of a settlement agreement and release to directly pay the Hilltop Preparatory School an amount of $47,275 for the 2020-21 school year and to settle and comprise all claims raised by the parents of a special education student and to authorize the board president and secretary to execute the agreement on behalf of the district. Looking for a motion to approve items 9.1 through 9.12 as presented.
So moved, Case.
Mr. Case first. Do we have a second?
Schneider, second.
Mr. Schneider, second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
yes,
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under Technology and Media, 10.1, request approval to purchase a 36-month plan for Cisco Umbrella Web filtering product for the district at a cost of $8,870 billed annually. Do we have a motion?
Schneider, move.
Schneider first.
Cocker.
Case, second.
Ms. Cocker second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy, Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
yes,
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under Operations, 11.1, request permission to purchase district copy paper and supplies through the BCIU bid from July 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. 11.2, request permission to purchase district classroom and office supplies through the BCIU bid from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. 11.3, request permission to purchase district supplies through the BCIU bid from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. 11.4, request approval to use consolidated engineering as the electrical engineering for the modular classrooms at Whitfield Elementary, pending solicitor review and approval. 11.5, request permission to advertise for bids for the HVAC portion of the aquatic facilities rehabilitation upon solicitor review. 11.6, request permission to enter into an annual support service agreement with CM3 at a cost of $27,904 as attached. 11.7, Request permission to enter an agreement with C2C Design Group for architectural engineering services for the Whitfield temporary classrooms as attached, pending solicitor review and approval. Looking for a motion to approve items 11.1 through 11.7 as presented.
So moved, Negrini. Second Case.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
yes,
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under Finance, 12.1, request approval of the 2020-2021 general fund budget with tax on real estate of 26.26 mils, no increase over the prior year, as per the resolution attached to the permanent minutes, providing expenditures of $115,100,000. Looking for a motion to approve.
Martin moves,
Martin first,
Second, Schneider.
Schneider second. Any discussion?
yes, this is Mike. I want to thank everybody, including Christine's department and her staff are doing a great job in a very trying year. It's going to be another trying year coming forward, and the board was very responsive to what we presented, and it's really a team effort. And I especially want to thank the administrative staff and sports staff for taking a salary freeze. It's going to help the situation, and it was greatly appreciated. And once again, we're not over the hump yet, but we're making progress in the right direction.
Thank you, Mike. Any other discussion or comments? Roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes,
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
8-4, against.
12.2, request approval of the homestead and farmstead exclusion resolution for 2021 school year per attached. 12.3, request approval of the resolution regarding the modification of real estate tax payment deadlines for the 2020 tax year per attached. 12.4, request approval of the resolution ratifying tax assessment appeals as attached. 12.5, request approval to place insurances with the listed carriers for the 2020-21 school year as recommended by the district's insurance broker, Tompkins Insurance. 12.6, request approval to submit all unpaid 2019 per capita bills to statewide tax recovery, subject to payments collected through June 18, 2020. 12.7, request approval to award the following bids: elementary and secondary art supplies, elementary and secondary music equipment and supplies, and secondary technology supplies, and fall activity supply, athletic supplies. 12.8, request approval of the budget transfers dated May 14, 2020 to June 17, 2020. Looking for a motion to approve items, financial items 12.2 to 12.8.
First, Casper.
Jasper first. Do we have a second?
Schneider, second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
yes,
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under food and cafeteria, request approval of the 2020-21 food services budget. Meal prices will remain at the 2019-2020 prices. 13.2, request approval of the addendum to Carroll H. Gilbert Consulting Agreement as attached. 13.3, approved food service items, 13.1 to 13.2 as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Case.
Case first. Do we have a second?
Martin seconds.
Mr. Martin second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under childcare, request approval of the 2020-21 Berkshire Heights Early Learning Center Wilson Child Care's budget as attached. 14.2, request approval of the 2020-21 handbooks for the Berkshire Heights Early Learning Center and school-age childcare programs as attached. 14.3, request approval of the Wilson School District Berkshire Heights Early Learning Center childcare phase school reopening health and safety plan and waiver as attached. 14.4, request approval of the contract with Home Care Solutions LLC for the cleaning of the Berkshire Heights Early Learning Center with the attached COVID-19 cleaning certification. Looking for a motion to approve items 14.1 to 14.4 as presented.
Cocker.
Cocker first. Do you have a second?
Kennedy.
Pass.
Any discussion?
Mr. Hart, I would like to thank Dr. Stout and the Child Care Committee. Not only did they have to put together their yearly budget and the handbook as they do every year, but then also all of their work that went into creating the health and safety plan for the reopening of Berkshire Heights and the child care. This group was the first of our task forces to meet and were the ones to set the bar for all of the other plans moving forward for next year. So I just want to thank them for all of their hard work in the creation of the plan for our reopening.
Thank you. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under extracurricular, 10.1, request to approve the athletic extracurricular health and safety plan as attached. Looking for a motion.
Cocker.
Mrs. Cocker first. Second.
Martin.
Mr. Martin second. Any discussion?
Mr. Hart, if I could again, I just happen to be involved with both of the groups that are putting forward their health and safety plans. I would like to thank Dr. Trickett and his team for their work in developing the health and safety plan for the extracurriculars. They took into consideration not just our athletic groups, but also band and theater and anyone else that would be starting their activities in the summer. As always, our top priority is the health and safety of our students and our staff, and we're very fortunate to have this experienced team that was working together to handle this initiative. So thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mrs. Casper,
Yes.
Dr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Negrini,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
8-4, against.
Under committee reports, Berks Career and Technology Center, Mrs. Casper.
There's no report this time. We have our next meeting this coming Wednesday, June 24th, virtually.
Great, thank you. Berks County IU Board Representative, Dr. Kennedy.
Yes, the IU met last Thursday on Zoom, and we spent a lot of time discussing their plans for reopening and how they're helping the districts
with plans for reopening. They also opened their childcare on Monday, June 15th. So it'll be interesting to see, hear an update on how that goes. Also, one of our students, and I'm going to totally clobber her last name, Renata Garcia Biebu. It's Beaute. She participated in the project search, and that's an internship at Penn State Health St. Joseph, where she had on-the-job training, and she graduated this year. I want to say congratulations to her. It seems like a really great program for our students, and that's.
Curriculum Council?
We did not meet since the last meeting for curriculum, and our meeting next month is canceled as well. Oh, and the BCIU, I'm sorry, the BCIU is canceled in July. We're going to attempt to get the August meeting in person. Exciting stuff.
Thank you. Berks EIT, Mr. Schlossman?
We have not met. Our next meeting is July 30th.
Thank you. Extracurricular, Mrs. Cocker.
Yes. So in addition to the health and safety plan from the extracurricular committee, there was an interesting, and I believe Mrs. Troutman will be sharing this information with our student body and our families in the fall. But there's something else that came out of our meeting. It's called the Voluntary Student Accident Plan, and it's something that I'd never heard of before, whether it was when I was a student or as a parent now. But it's for $90. It provides 24-hour accident coverage for your child, for the student, $90 per student, but for that covers for the whole year. And I kind of equate it to the technology, the computer insurance that you can get for your child's device, that if anything's damaged on the device, you're covered. Kind of the same goes for this for your child. It doesn't have to be in school. It can be at home on the weekend, 24-hour coverage for only $90 for your child. So it's something everyone will be receiving information on in the fall, and I thought that was a really interesting thing to kind of keep an eye out for, and could be beneficial for a lot of families.
Thank you. Facilities, Mr. Negrini.
Thank you, President Hart. We had a meeting on Monday, June 8th. We were informed that the PP&L work has been completed along Dwight and Van Reed roads. The sidewalk has been completed with new ADA compliant sidewalks in place. There was one particular issue that PPL was willing to rectify as pertained to the location of some poles that would have created some problems for our buses and transportation department, as that's a pretty tight turn from Van Reed onto Dwight. So we appreciate the efforts that PP&L has made to work with the township and the district with that area. Portable classrooms at Whitfield is set for a delivery date of August 17th. And as per an item that was on the agenda tonight, we should have the electricity working in those portable classrooms the following day. We discussed the purchase of some summer cleaning and equipment to be utilized with some of the CARES Act funding to make sure that the district's property, classrooms, throughout the facilities is certainly sterilized and ready for students come the beginning of the 2021 school year. There's been some work done over on the Southern Middle School roof. We're looking at completion sometime in early July. That includes some of the grass area and light pole toward the back of the building. We've held off on some work on the roofs at the lower house and some portions of the upper house as we've put our feasibility study project on hold for a bit. The roofs are not in dire need of work immediately, but if we make a decision as a board to move forward with some construction work that may ultimately change the design of either of those two buildings, it certainly wouldn't make much fiscal sense to do work on that roof if we're going to tear it up the following year. So we've held off on that for further discussion with the board in the fall when we get back to the discussion with the feasibility project. And we were happy to receive a donation from Epson on a printer down at the print shop with a donation of paperwork to follow. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance, Mr. Martin.
Just want to thank everyone once again for approving the next year's budget, and it was greatly appreciated.
And I echo that. Thank you to everyone that had a part in this, and appreciate all the sacrifices that had to be made to move this budget forward. But I thank everyone for getting it done. Human Resources, no report. Legislative, Mr. Martin.
Not a lot to report on. As you know, the government's been tied up with the COVID-19. But come September, there's going to be quite a bit of talk on several issues. Charter schools are back on the topic, as well as I believe the minimum wage will not come back because of COVID, but there's a lot of items that they're looking for ways of stretching some dollars. So it should be interesting.
Thank you. Public Relations, Mr. Troutman.
Sure, thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know that tonight at 6 p.m. We emailed a survey to all district families and staff members regarding planning for the reopening of the Wilson School District. The survey is designed to be completed by rising 6th through 12th grade students, all parents and guardians, as well as all Wilson staff members. So we've already received 1,000 responses to the survey since it's gone out. So I thought that was showing that our community is very interested in sharing their thoughts with us. So we are very encouraged by those early results from our community. So the results of the survey obviously will be used to inform the task force in their work to safely return our students and staff to our school buildings this fall. The deadline for the completion of the survey is going to be this Friday, June 26th. There will be a reminder call going out tomorrow evening that will remind people that the survey is in their email. It's also posted on our district website. And again, the deadline for completing that survey is this Friday. Also, on behalf of our Food Services Director, Ms. Ginn, I wanted to let you know that we are pleased to be able to continue to offer our meal service for families on Wednesdays throughout the month of July. So we will again be offering free meals for our community through the month of July. Students need to be 18 years of age or younger, and they do not need to attend the Wilson School District. The pickup hours will remain the same as they have for June. They will be on Wednesdays between 11:15 and 12:30 p.m. at Cornwall Terrace Elementary School. And the students will be receiving 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches per week at the Wednesday pickup. So we are working on a communication strategy to get the word out that we are continuing that meal service through the end of July. Thank you.
Thank you. Education Foundation, Mr. Case.
Yes, thank you. The Ed Foundation held a 2019-2020 wrap-up meeting on Friday, June 12th, and at the meeting, they acknowledged the board members who have terms ending. Thank you to Ellen Adams, Brian Cole, Jen Kokona, Andy Funk, Brett Gibble, Ernie Magalotti, Jeannie Redner, and Rudy Ruth for their many years of service, guidance, and support. We also approved the following new members for board positions, which are 3-year terms: Amy Hafer, Tracy Cuck, and Brad Weissman. And there's 1 spot still left that they are taking recommendations to fill. And other news, the Ed Foundation will be finalizing and announcing our meeting dates for the 2020-2021 school year in the next couple of weeks. The first meeting of the year is confirmed for Friday, September 18th at 7:30 a.m. and details will follow about that. The foundation will be announcing some type of fall fundraising event. They are hoping to have an outdoor event that will follow all safety guidelines and protocols, and they will recognize the WEF sponsors for all events that were canceled in the spring, as well as the Sun Federal Teacher of the Year recipients, and present the 2020 Legacy Award. The foundation is thrilled to announce that this year they will be presenting the award to Dr. Rudy Ruth. The WEF will still be encouraging all Wilson School District employees to participate in the 2020-2021 Employee Giving Campaign, but they do understand that it has been a difficult time for many families. These funds are matched by the foundation and used to award teacher venture grants. They will be honoring all the venture grants from the spring 2020 through December 2020, and take a pause on giving out new grants this fall. And they'll resume accepting venture grant applications in January 2021 for spring 2021. So the WEF appreciates all the support from district employees. Employee giving information will be sent out in August. And lastly, finally, the Fighting Phils, there's a date for this Thursday coming up, June 25th, $5 a ticket. The WEF invites you to enjoy a great night outdoors at America's Classic Ballpark for a fun event called Party with a Purpose, hosted by the Reading Fighting Phils. Gates will open this Thursday at 5:45, and the concession stand will be open from 6 to 9 p.m. Fans will also have access to the field to have a catch and spread out. There will be table seating in the plaza as well as on the field, and registration is limited to follow state guidelines and must be pre-purchased. It's very important. The cost is $5, and all proceeds will benefit the Wilson Education Foundation. The event will feature a live music performance. Select mascots will be making appearances and be available for photos. In addition, the Reading Phils award-winning ballpark food will be available to all attendees. The Grand Slam Grill and the Yingling Hometown Tap Room will be open as well. So more information can be found on the WEF Facebook page with the link to purchase tickets, and the Wilson School District Facebook page has that posted as well. And if that's not enough, you could also go to the Reading Fighting Phils website, and they have a link there that you can purchase tickets for this event. So should be a good time, and it's for a great cause. So come on out and get some sun. So thanks.
Technology, Mr. Schneider.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. I have nothing to report at this time.
Mr. Maravich, any comments? We do not have any participation for the last part of the meeting.
No report.
Okay. Any other business needs to be presented before the board? Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Schneider.
Schneider first. Do we have a second?
Second Case.
Mr. Case, thank you. Everyone have a great evening.
Stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe. Thank you.
Bye-bye.